Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll show how I develop color film. I won't be getting into the process of loading film into developing tank here. There is a separate, very detailed video where I cover how to load 35mm film as well as 120 and 220 film, so make sure to check that one out. Let's get into developing. Here's what you're gonna need. Developing tank, dark bag, chemistry kit. I'm using Cinestill Color Simplified liquid kit. Set of bottles, distilled water, funnels, measuring cups, sticks for stirring, gloves and thermometer, squeegee, clips for drying the film. You may get clips specifically for drying the film, but I find the ones from Home Depot work just fine for me. Archival sleeves for storage of the negatives. Bucket of water with sous vide device. This device is not necessary, but it helps to keep the water temperature stable, so it is way easier to develop your film. You might just use running warm water and then periodically checking its temperature. And a timer. I simply use my phone. Let's mix some chemicals. It is recommended to use warm distilled water that's been heated to 120 Fahrenheit or 49 degrees Celsius. Make sure you're working in well-ventilated area and wearing gloves. I placed 20 ounces of warm water in plastic container, then adding my developer that consists out of 3 parts. First I'm adding part A, mixing it, then part B, mixing it again, and then I'm adding part C. Mix it all together and pour it into the bottle. There are different chemistry kits on the market. Some of them are in liquid form and some of them are in powder form. I personally prefer using the liquids simply because I find it way easier to mix and also it is less messy. But I have used powder chemicals in the past and they work the same. Here I'm mixing Blix. Blix also consists out of 3 parts. First I'm adding warm water into plastic container, followed by part A, part B and part C, mixing everything well together, just the same way I mixed developer. When mixing chemistry, do not cross-contaminate your solutions, otherwise they will become unusable. Also, it is very helpful to put dates on the containers when your chemicals were mixed. Moving on to stabilizer. Stabilizer needs to be dissolved in 30 ounces of room temperature water. There is very handy instructions sheet that comes with your chemicals, so simply follow the instructions and you'll be fine. Now we are ready to develop film. I'm starting with adding water, the same temperature as my chemicals, into developing tank, then let it sit for 1 minute and then pour it out. Now adding developer. Developing time is 3.5 minutes. If you develop as normal, agitate for first 15 seconds, then agitate for 10 seconds every 30 seconds. For agitation, I'm using the stick that comes with the developing tank. When developing, I prefer to submerge my developing tank into the water to make sure the temperature of the chemistry stays consistent. Once the time is up, pour the developer back into container. Now here comes Blix. Blix time is 8 minutes. Agitation pattern is exactly the same as developer. Agitate for first 15 seconds, then agitate for 10 seconds every 30 seconds. And once the time is up, pour Blix back into the container. To extend the shelf life of my chemistry, usually I make sure that I completely empty the developing tank in between Blix and developer. This way, whatever is left from developer in the tank would not contaminate my Blix, so I would be able to process more film out of one chemistry kit. Now I'm washing my film under running water for 3 minutes. When time's up, I empty my tank, pour in stabilizer, close the lid, do 10 inversions, and after this open developing tank, pour the stabilizer back into container, and at this point film is already developed, so all I left to do is remove the excess water and let it dry. Keep track of how many film rolls you developed out of one chemistry kit. Personally, I use Google Sheets for that. And there's another tip: store your chemistry in cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight.